We love old cemeteries and churchyards, so come with us as we explore these places for the past. If you were to have an AI program produce an image of a spooky and atmospheric graveyard, this is definitely what it would come up with. And this is the family plot of Mr. Alan Cleland of Ratcliffe, another person from Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe must be round about here somewhere. My knowledge of the geography of London is not exactly expansive. A lot of them here that I've not seen before are just marked as the family grave. We did see that across in Denmark. A lot of them were like a family plot, but that's the family grave of Richard and Elizabeth Burrows. I quite like the sort of scale of that. That is from 1894. Well, one of the dates on it is 1894. Let's go and it's another one where you try to resist the temptation to have a look in, but all you can see is the other side of out. Right, so we are the old... Oh right, this bit we're in is the old turning circle for horse-drawn hearses, and it goes up round there, and round there, and back here. There, what an interesting wee bit of history. Lots and lots of fairly similar headstones. This one down here is quite impressive. That is white marble, I think, which again is why it's lasted so well. Yeah, it's all from the 1890s. Robert Isaac Pitfield and James Field and Walter Field, Elizabeth Field and Anne Schumann, and some people who aren't Fields. And then James John Field right at the bottom. And next to that, this is why I took a detour back through this hearse turning circle, because look at that, that's quite imposing. You certainly notice that one. That is George Huxley Bear from 1855. And Henry Bear and Mrs. Jane Bear. Yeah, all the bears. There's a question for you. George Huxley, the fourth son of Henry and Margaret Bear, who died in 1890. But how come he is a Huxley and not a Bear? Unless he was George Huxley Bear, and that's like a middle name. Don't know, that's a guess. And down at the very bottom, spoiling the continuous list of bears, it's Mittil, the peacock. We saw on that sign when we first came in the original burial, the first burial in this place. I wonder where he is. I wonder if it would be possible to find him. I'm guessing probably not, but a spot of Googling may well be called for. This place is very much a product of the Industrial Revolution. That's when the population exploded, and disease and plague and horribleness and stuff. But now it's quite nice, and it's it's not in the prettiest of areas by any manner of means, but there's no antisocial behaviour here, there's nothing unpleasant, but then it is still only about 9 o'clock on a wet morning. I bet it's different at 9 o'clock on a Saturday evening. So this is the family vault of William and Naomi Lee of Victoria Park, and it's got a thing on it that I'm going to need your help with, because it says blah 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 blah, lots and lots of stuff, and also to the memory of Naomi. Relict of the Reverend Joseph Cartwright, and daughter of the Reverend William Entwistle of Ilkeston, Derby. She was born at Bolton in 1783 and died at Victoria Park in 1868. But what's that word there? What is the... no idea, I can't quite... I can see what it says. It says R-E-L-I-C-T, but that's not a word. Okay, Google has once again come to our rescue. Relict is an archaic term for widow, so she is the widow of the Reverend. There's Mary Ann Wood's little sarcophagus, and Edward Wood. That's again, they've got the slab with their the family vault of Edward and Mary Ann Wood of Mile End Gate, but they've got a little thing on top of it as well. Oh, somebody had a hard life. That is Charles Herber, son of the above, and I'm guessing above is up the top, but it's illegible. And Helen Lewis, beloved wife of the above, after much suffering. That doesn't say much for old Charles Herbert if his wife died after much suffering. There's number 61, that is Rind from 1872. Nothing else, just Rind. And next to Rind is Edith Fanny, who fell asleep in Jesus in 1884, and this lead stuff is quite nice when it lasts, but often it's missing and you've got to fill in an awful lot of blanks. Here we are back in the 1920s, well certainly that one there, Reverend David Rowe, a Wesleyan minister who fell asleep in Jesus in 1921. 74th year of his age and 47th year of his ministry. For 22 years he laboured unceasingly as superintendent of the Seamen's Mission for the spiritual and moral needs of merchant seamen, and was instrumental in building the Queen Victoria Seamen's Rest, Poplar, London. So he is somebody of note and wanted to make sure that you knew it. Another detail we're seeing here that I haven't seen anywhere else is the actual names of the first person is round the top. This one is all gone. Family grave of something Hibbert of Sun Street, Finsbury, and then it says Maria Hibbard, mother of the above, but the above is gone. Right, let's keep heading up towards the top end of this. This could take some time because I keep stopping. I've got to stop stopping and actually get round and try and find all the cool bits. There is Will Crooks, after a life of loving service to the nation, passed from us in 1921. A cooper by trade, he became a guardian of the poor, a borough councillor, the Mayor of Poplar, a London County Councillor, a Member of Parliament and a Privy Councillor. He lived and died a servant of the people. And I like the fact that his O's are joined together, both in Crooks and in Cooper. Where are we now? We are at the very top bit of the cemetery. Let's keep going up here. There is a little stone thing, which I think from that sign we just looked at will be the Poplar Civilian Memorial. It is this garden commemorates the life of 190 people of Poplar who were amongst those killed in air raids on the borough during the Second World War and whose mortal remains rest in this place, and that crow is making an awful lot of noise. I think we're in the Art Deco corner of the graveyard now. I do like those little stones. I do like the Art Deco sort of image, the Art Deco sort of style. And up in this corner there's lots more smaller tombstones. There's no big ones here. There's a couple. There's one that's fallen over and there's one over there. But most of them are only this height and there's lots of them lying down. This place was hit by quite a few bombs in the Second World War, so I'm not saying this damage was caused by bombs, but there's certainly bits of it where the tombstones would have been scattered to the four winds by high explosives falling from the sky. Look at that! There are hundreds of little gravestones in there. Let's go and see if we can find something that will give us a bit of a date. That is Oliver Minns from 1871, but we are going behind Oliver over to these small things over here, and they are from, that is in loving memory of Samuel Cridge from 1933, so these are 1930s. In loving memory of our dear son Ernest Thomas Fletcher, who died 1934, so I said 84, 1930. And I think we are heading out of the graveyard bit because there's no gravestones, which is a bit of a clue that you're not in a graveyard. As there's nothing of interest to see up there, let's head back down past Susanna Elizabeth Dubbock, beloved wife of Richard Dubbock, who died in 1898, and behind her there is Iki Repose Victor that is in foreign. That is I think that's French, but I'm not completely sure. Anyway, 80 years in 1890, died aged 80 in 1890. I meant, you know what I meant, you can read it for yourselves. And this is affectionate remembrance of Catherine Holloway, who died in 1881. Patient in suffering, calmly waiting the will of God. Again, very cheerful. There are so many dogs here. It's quite nice to see. They're all been very friendly so far, even the big scary looking one. That memorial that we looked at a little bit earlier talked about the bodies in here of people who died in the Second World War, civilians who died in the bombing. But I'm not seeing any 1940s gravestones really. There must be some somewhere, but we haven't seen any as yet. That's an interesting inscription in memory of our beloved sister Anna Bird Baker, who entered into rest December 18th, 1907, aged 49. For over 30 years she was a teacher in the East London Tabernacle Sunday School. She being dead yet speaketh. And behind Anna, that one's quite imposing as well, that is Alfred Hampson, who died in 1922, aged 19, safe in the arms of Jesus. And yeah, this is quite good. I am quite enjoying this, as you can probably tell. And there's a robin on that gravestone. That is there's an image for you. Hello, Mr. Robin. If I get my camera out, will you fly away? Very probably. The robin would not play the photogenic game, but there's our dear son Kingy, Albert Edward, who died 9th of May 1905, 3 years and 11 months, and also our only daughter Gladys Margaret, who died in 1904, aged 1 month, and she's interred near this spot, not actually under that stone. Right, let's keep going or we'll never get anywhere. This place is just too big and too interesting. Tower Hamlets is a nautical sort of place. It's close to the River Thames with its docks and all the no doubt pleasantness there in the Industrial Revolution, and that's got a big anchor on top of it. Oh, and I said we were going to go back and look at that tombstone with the anchor, then I completely forgot, so we'll have to go and find that now. That is, of course, if I can find it again. So those are all from the 1800s, and that is the grave of Albert Litter from 2024. Unfortunately I can't make all this out, but this is the private grave of Archibald G. Brown, and this is in loving memory of Annie, the devoted wife of Archibald Brown, obviously. And it says something at London Tabernacle, who fell asleep in Jesus on the morning of May the 5th, 1874. That's quite specific with the old time of death. And next to it there's a sandstone one that's quite badly gone. We usually see them beside the seaside if we're up in Scotland on the little coastal cemeteries. We usually see sandstone like that. Didn't expect to see much of it down here. Maybe it's low quality sandstone. There's Thomas from 1884 and Leslie Benteen, beloved daughter of Mary Thomas. Oh, that is the Thomas family, not somebody called Thomas. Okay, that's worth knowing. Let's keep going and see what we can see a bit down here. There's a spaniel coming to say hello, completely ignoring the lady who is shouting at it to not come and say hello. Hello, spaniel. Yeah. Well, it's not coming to say hello, it's just out for a run. Rude. I've only seen a few stones like this. I think they are slate. That is from 1847-ish. And next to it there's another one that is William John Graham, son of the above. This is John and Anne Graham, and 7 months in 1847. So yeah, slate is another good thing to make your tombstone out of because it lasts. So this is in loving memory of Maud Elizabeth, beloved wife of, I wonder what his favourite time of the week was, because that is Albert Friday Night from November 1920. Sorry, that was terrible. So we cut inland to look at some of the nice things in there. So we're coming back down via the path. So we're back at those two quite impressive memorials. So I am talking nonsense. Oh, bye. We're back in another low level part of the cemetery, as in the stones are a bit lower. So let's see if these are our 1940s. Nope, these are 1950s. Still not finding anything from the Second World War and all the people in here who were killed by the German bombing. As promised, here is the one with the anchor on it, and this is Irving Gray Olsen and Lillian his wife, and it is the private vault of Irving Gray Olsen and Lillian his wife, which I just said. And this is the one with the big anchor on it, and it says down the bottom here, this is the private vault of Irving Gray and Lillian Olsen of Oakbrook, Clapham Park and Columbia Works Poplar. Right, I think we're about to head out of this cemetery because I could spend all day, in fact probably all week here, but there's lots more to see in London, so let's just going to keep going and going to keep filming as I do. But this is sacred to the memory of James Higgs from 1937, and also the baby daughters Little Vi, who's in grave 10181, and baby Betty, who is safe in the arms of Jesus. And that's quite a nice memorial as well. Again, black granite lasts. These private vaults or family vaults are quite interesting, especially the ones where people have put things on top of them to make them even more impressive. Look at that, his and his matching tombstones, more or less. They don't quite the same, I know, but they look pretty similar. So very similar style and very different to the ones round about them. There's a murder going on up there. If the crows would be quiet, I would tell you there's definitely a sort of thing going on with off-the-shelf monuments, because there's a pillar with some ivy around it. Over there is the same thing. Actually, we're going to head that way because one behind it has got a big ball on top, which is not something we have seen before. So we could go down that way, but we're not going to, and we could go up that way, but we're not going to. This place is just too big to really get your head round. Oh, that's quite nice. That is Harriet, beloved wife of Robert IV from 1890, and that one is a bit simpler but equally as nice, and that is Caroline, wife of James Cross from 18 something. The bit's missing with the actual date. The 18's there, 1832 I think that says. Actually, let's go for a wee look. 1882. This bit here is an avenue of fairly grand sculpture. There is Robert Rogers from 1903 and Isabella Emma, wife of F.H. Fowraker, who's from 1901. That's quite nice. I like the Celtic cross sort of thing going on with the little fairy at the bottom, or angel at the bottom. And then, yeah, these are all quite monumental. I do quite like them. They're fairly imposing and certainly left their mark on the cemetery. They stand out for quite a long way away, and they're also right beside the path. So again, if you walk in this path, you see them. Yeah, I've seen these with a draped vase or a statue on the top. I've never seen one with just a ball on top. That's quite interesting. And again, it's certainly a little bit distinctive because it's like red granite there, I think, and then a sandstone bit, and then a red granite ball at the very top. That's quite cool. I do quite like that one. And over there behind it, there's another field of hundreds and hundreds of stones for people like James Smith. and Eleanor Mary Morgan. I wonder when the last time some of these family vaults were opened, when the last burial in them was. This certainly doesn't look like it's been done recently. So this is the path we're heading back up. Another path we haven't been on before, although there's that big pointy monument thing in front of us. I came up this way because there's these two brown stones which are they're red granite. Let's go and have a look at those. I've taken a detour up this way because the big scary dog is back and I think it wants to be my friend. So there's George Etheridge's obelisk, and there is, oh, who's this one? That's quite a nice little thing, isn't it? I think that's probably just missing the top bit of it. Let's see if the top bit of it is lying about. No, it isn't. Okay, well, that was short, wasn't it? Let's keep going down here. There is another one that is possibly missing a top bit, or possibly not. That is Albert something. Albert Arthur. Okay, I did say I was leaving, but then I found another nice wee path, so I'm just going to take a wee wander up here, if you don't mind. And if you do mind, it doesn't matter because I'm going to do it anyway. So lots of similar sort of big flat stones, and then the odd one that people have had done that are really quite cool. I mean, look at that. That's sculpted to look like a pile of rock, and it's got a bit on the top of it that might have been a socket for something else, might have been a big sticky up bit on top of that. Don't know, that is obviously a guess. I can't exactly say that I'm lost because it's not difficult to find your way out because this place is fenced in on all four sides, but I do sometimes wonder, have I been here before? And then you see something that you recognise, like that stone there with the little raised bits on it, unless there's two of them. And beside that stone there's Alice, who died in 1887, age 58, and another Alice, I guess, and James Walter, who is son of the above. I thought I'd found the 1940s part of the cemetery. I have, but it's these are all 1948, 1949. That one there's 1949 for old Charles, and there is James from 1948, age 74. So yeah, still can't find anything from the people who were killed in the Second World War. I'll probably just stop looking. Oh, that's quite grand. In a field of not very much, there is Mary Ann Price, again from 1948. She's got quite a nice tombstone. The sections of this place are fascinating because we're back now in a bit that is all these little gravestones. There are no big ones here at all, so the big ones are all way back over there. We're going to keep going. I guess it'll change again quite soon. Yeah, I said that walking past those, and in front of me there are more large gravestones, so let's go and see who is down here and what sort of date they are from. This is in memory of Hannah Emily, daughter of the above, and the above being William B and Ellen Long, and she's from 1907, age 19. Some gravestones just stand out, and you wonder if it's by design or just by pure chance the way they've ended up. But at the end of this path there is a big brown granite one in amongst all the sandstone. So let's go and have a wee look and see what we can see. What we can see is somebody who did not have their leading done to a very high standard, but that is James Forbes, I think it says, from 1880 something, yes, age 72 years. I thought this place was big enough to get lost in, and it turns out I was absolutely right, because I'm back where that big Bear family monument is, and I've seen all this stuff before. So I'm going to head down this way and then turn left, and then hopefully find a way out and back down to where I parked the van. Here's another gravestone that has got dates, and it's also got addresses on it. So this is Mrs. Harriet Ellis of Rodney Terrace West, Mile End Road. Relict of the late Mr. Richard Ellis, that is, as we know from a previous experience, that is widow. Formerly of the Minories, who departed this life in 1850. Also Howard, the beloved son of Richard and Marianne of Hackney, and grandson of the above, who died in 1862, and Marianne Ellis and Richard Ellis of Stamford Hill. And Richard Ellis, who is from Stamford Hill, just told us that, and he was a solicitor for many years, vestry clerk and clerk to the trustee board of the parish of Hackney, and clerk to the board of works for the Hackney district. He died in 1893, aged 67, and his end was peace. And down the bottom there is a barrister at law and somebody from the Rifle Volunteers. And there's that stone again, so this time I'm going right, which I think is back down towards where I came in. I think I've found a path that isn't really a path. It must have been at some point, because all these gravestones are facing this way, but now it is just a bit of a quagmire. Yeah, that part that I've just tried to walk along actually looks like it was once like an avenue or a crescent of tombstones, but the path that was there is now gone, and the path here cuts straight through the middle of it. I'm going to shut up now so you can hear the bird song here, because the bird life in this place is incredible and quite noisy.